Hey, this is Coach Kinsey Shae here with Bobby Merwin, and
Hello.
we are popping on to answer some questions that we have
Oh, cool.
received. If you
Mhm.
guys haven't joined us before, this is Gen Exploration, really looking at the perspective of Gen X through a woman's point of view and a man's, and that would be Bobby.
I'll play the man.
Yep, that's his
If any of
pronoun.
my friends are going to watch this, they're going to go,
And then from
no,
a
Bobby,
coach,
you silly poof. Yeah, no. I'll play the man today.
yes. And then from a coaching point of view and from a counselor point of view.
hmm
Yeah. So let's dive into these questions, my friend.
Okay.
So the first question,
Question
there's
one.
yes. I know someone who is in love with their ex and can't seem to move on. Do you have any suggestions or advice?
I know someone that is, let's start with that. I know someone that is in love with their ex.
Is that you?
Yeah. Do you know that term where people go, so
I know
this isn't about
someone.
me, but I know this guy and he has this problem.
Yep.
I know somebody that is in love with their ex. What was the rest of the question, please?
I know someone who's in love with their ex and can't seem to move on. Do you
Okay.
have any suggestions or advice?
Wow. I think the first thing that I would ask or say is what made it end in the first place? Why are you an ex or why are they an ex?
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, it's human nature to kind of want to go after things that we can't have, or covet things that we can't have.
Mm-hmm.
There could also be maybe some mistakes that were made and maybe some time has passed and now you've learned about that. I don't know about you, Kinsey, but I have looked at relationships that I've had in my past and I'm like, if I could go back and do that again,
Mm-hmm.
I know I would do it 96% better than I did it before.
Right.
I was just not the right person at the right time.
But that's key. I mean, in our journey of life, we have an opportunity to seize opportunities, whether
mhm,
it be with relationships, career, or whatever. But during that time, for whatever reason, we didn't have the capacity to hold that at that time
mhm,
and space. So going
right.
back to that situation, whether there's a lot of variables because you don't know where that other person has been, if they've
Mhm,
had other trauma relationships or any other issues that could
right.
hinder that. You can't
Mhm,
go back in time. If you guys make an agreement that you're honoring the present to move forward, that's a different
mhm.
conversation. But if
This
you're
is true.
trying to go into that honeymoon or like, I remember the good times, but there is a reason why they are your ex. There is a reason.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I think I have said that to at least 50 clients in my life, if not more.
Right.
There's a reason that they are your ex. Can you remember what it is? Because I know personally, I love to remember all the good times. I am
Right.
such an expert at remembering all of the good times.
Right.
But if you can bring the bad times up with your ex, maybe they
Mhm.
won't be your ex anymore. Who knows? I
Right.
mean, I have heard of people being married, getting divorced, being apart for 2 to 5 years, and getting married again because they are now a different person. And there was
Exactly.
things that had to change. Could have been, drug or alcohol use. It could have been infidelity. It could have been just not paying attention and taking the person seriously. If I had $1 for every time I had a client, especially a woman, that would
Mhm.
say in my office, my husband literally just won't pay attention to me. I never get a compliment. I never get you see it on the TV show where the husband's, walking through the kitchen, got a big smile on his face, smacks her on the butt as he goes by and goes, "Nice butt, babe," as he walks out the door. That shit's worth money.
Right.
That is currency. That is good stuff right there. And
Exactly.
I have these women that say, I don't get that. And I'm like, I don't understand that because it's hard for me to tone that down.
Well, I think it also is prudent to say quite often women have a tendency to be chatty Cathys. Like if we don't get a response right away, we're like, okay, what's going on? Can you talk to me? What da,
True.
da, 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 da. You know, they go down that. The thing is if you
Mhm.
give a man a little bit of space, a little bit
Thank
of
you.
breathing, like
Thank
30
you.
seconds before you interject, going, what's going on? What? I mean,
Yes.
they're going to get triggered. So they're not going to answer your questions. You will be surprised the more that you allow space, sacred
Mhm.
space for them to speak, the more you will learn.
I'm looking around for a napkin or a tissue right now because there's gonna dot in my eye. I'm gonna go, I love you right now so much. God, that's so beautiful because it is. Would you please listen to the Kinsey? Please.
With the Kinsey.
Just let us breathe. But it's like it's interrogation. Where were you on August 2nd, 1974? You know, with the flashlight in your face, you know, like, I don't know. Stop yelling at me.
But
It's
also
kind of like that.
I would say, you know, for men, they very much get in the Mr. Fix-It mode when women just want to be held. You know, they want to
Yeah.
be supported. They're not wanting them to fix it. They want to be seen, heard, and valued, not fixed like it's a task. You know?
Okay, I'm not. This is not an argument. I hear you,
Yeah.
and I think that you are correct.
Yep.
However, I also hear a lot about men that get nagged because they're not getting enough done. And that's a really, really tricky one because I will have every man. I will have the man that is Joe Fix-It, who does this and does this around the house and then still gets nagged. Or I get the guy that says, I get nagged all the time to fix stuff around the house. And I'll say, well, you know, well, that's too bad. What have you fixed? And they'll say,
you're taking me
nothing.
quite literally. I'm not talking about fixing stuff around the house. I'm just talking
Oh,
about
sorry, I was being a
fixing.
man. God, how silly of me. Taking it literal. That just is that not poignant right there? That is how men and women we're doing this right now, Kinsey. This is the best. You can't write this shit.
I know.
This is the best.
Like proving the point to a T.
Yes. Oh my God, we did not rehearse this. I swear to God.
The thing is when a woman is feeling down and they just need to vent, quite often we don't need a man to fix it. We just need a man to hear us.
That is true.
Yeah, and nurture us. Men and women both need nurturing. They both need it. And it's okay. And we both have masculine and feminine capabilities. There is an ebb and flow in a relationship where one needs to be more masculine at a time and when one needs to be more feminine at a time. And that doesn't devalue or put down the notch of your masculinity. Actually, it makes you a glowing star in your masculinity because you can harness the power of your feminine self, you know. And a lot of men are like, I'm not feminine. Yes, we both have the capabilities to be masculine and feminine. And moreover, if you are a female, that in your job you have to be more masculine, quite often you're going to turn off men because they want somebody to nurture them, to value them, and that they don't have to be in competition with, you know. And that was very much part of my former marriage. I was very much in the Miss Independent, very masculine type of energy, and it became a huge competition. And that's not a very productive or healthy relationship.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, anybody that knows me knows that as you were going through all that masculine, feminine stuff earlier, I'm just pursing my lips because I have every funny thing in the world to say. But what you had to say was actually more poignant than me interjecting with humor, which is that it's a know your role situation. And what I want to underline there is knowing your role doesn't mean that you are less than.
Right.
It's like in acting. when we're acting, people have, I've had bit parts in shows and I've
Right.
had leading parts in shows.
Right.
Okay. I'm not better than anybody else.
No.
I'm just different.
Right.
That's it. I just have a different role. I'm doing a different thing. The stagehand is not less or more than me. So if you're taking the, lesser role, if you want to like schedule it out, and you're taking the lesser role in this instance, so be it. Is it
Right.
for the greater good?
Mhm.
Anybody who's a Hot Fuzz fan right now is saying the greater good. Have you ever seen the movie Hot Fuzz? Love that movie.
I have.
Anyway,
I
I
have.
love that movie. But yeah, the greater good.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta know your role at that time. And what we had, that transaction we had a few minutes ago, perfection. That was absolute perfection that had just like hit dead center. We were totally misunderstanding
Yep.
each other. I thought fix it is in like, let's take this light bulb and put it into this thing, and oh, the mower's broken, I gotta fix that. No, Bobby, not that kind of fix. Like, just listen to me. Just sit there at the kitchen table and let me rant about Debbie at the water cooler who tipped it over and shorted out my computer and pissed me off. And then I missed my lunch break. And I'm like, yeah. Yes. Oh, Debbie.
Yep.
Yes. That's what I need to do, or men need to do.
Right.
I tend to be okay with it.
To go back to the question, though, like going back to your ex, I would really take stock in your values. Does that person, are they in alignment with your values? Because if they are not similar to your values or what your capacity to hold, that the likelihood that you can hold the capacity of the relationship is pretty minimal. Does that make sense?
I think so. So what I'm hearing is that they're your ex for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You're fantasizing about what was.
Right.
And you're asking yourself, has time passed enough to where we can figure this out? Is that kind of where you are?
No, I'm saying over time, our values will change. So we had different values previously, right? I'm speaking from the couple. And then now if we're in a different space where it's a year or 5 years, has that person's values changed and are they in alignment with yours? Because if they are not, to hold the capacity of the relationship, it's going to be kind of futile. Does that make sense?
It does. And the reason that I'm smiling is because Mac is stealing the show right now. Your dog is snoring.
I know.
Your microphone is so good that dog can be caught through the microphone, and you keep talking, and all I hear is
Matt, go. Go. Matt, go.
Wake up and go, Mac. Get out. Love you.
I know my mic is too good. My mic.
Oh my gosh,
good.
that was so awesome.
Thank you for letting me know.
I'm trying not to be childish, but at the same time, all I can hear is your dog snoring in the background.
That's hilarious.
That's so good. I think we have settings that like get rid of some of the ambient sounds too. We probably have to look into that.
I know.
Funny.
I know. So the second question is, what dating sites do you suggest? And what are the differences? And honestly, with this is, I can't really suggest a dating site because there's many variables that,
Right.
you know,
I mean,
I would pick one that, for the short answer would be, is look at your own personal values and the values of the person that you're looking for and try to find a site that has those same values. Now, if you're looking for something where you want more of a Christian type of relationship and, you know, those are your values, getting on like Tinder or Bumble or Grindr, those are probably not the greatest sites to be on.
there will be a lot of the word Jesus. It just won't be in a church. Thank you. Yeah, I was, if I can dovetail that, you have to look at what your own values are. And I think if I'm sensing what the person is trying to ask through this, it's always the frustration. There's always a sense of frustration when you're dealing with dating sites. It's like
Right.
one is either too pigeonholed this way, or
Right.
one is either too broad this way.
Right.
Yeah, things like Tinderish is what I like to call it, because it encompasses that whole area. I mean,
Mhm.
generally that's just a site to get together to have intimate relations.
It's a hookup site.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that there are people that, find love and whatever, but I would say you would have to wade through quite a few people that just want to hook up to
I
get to
have had 2 clients in my life, 2
that.
different clients that have said that they met and they're together on Tinder. And I'm like,
Yep.
you do realize that this person got on here just to have sex. You realize that. That's the motivation of this website. I mean,
Mhm.
people could tell me something different. I'm like, no. Everybody I've talked to is going there because they want to hook up. Now, if you don't want to hook up and you want to go a different way, there are different sites for that. But it's really how much time do you want to invest in it? I think I wrote a book about something like this. Should recall that.
But I think
Funny.
also being very clear and concise in
Mm-hmm.
your description or your profile is very key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Putting exactly, this isn't a people pleasing exercise on these sites. That's not the
Right.
role. And that's not going to produce a relationship that's going to last. It's going to last to the point where you serve a purpose for a time
Mm-hmm.
and then you will get discarded. And that might sound rude or kind of harsh, but it happens. So
It does. No, you're right. It does. It just happens.
so I'm just going to be blunt about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the space where you can't set boundaries for yourself and what your standards are, these sites
Mm-hmm.
are just going to be a pure and simple disappointment. In my opinion.
Boundaries. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Boundaries are the final frontier. Boundaries are necessary, and they keep you healthy and they keep you happy. It's kind of like working out. Nobody
Right.
really wants to work out, but you
Mhm.
do that and you start doing it for a while and you get a rhythm and you start feeling good and feeling better about what you're doing and how you're
Right.
doing. Boundaries are the same way. You're like, oh man, I want to leave the door open because I don't know what the possibilities are. How has that worked for you before that, Debbie? That's why
Right.
you're sitting in my chair right now, because you got issues, because you don't have any boundaries, because you let men walk all over you. And that's what happens. We don't want them to walk all over us. We need those boundaries.
Right.
So, yeah.
Men and women both do. This is when Bobby says, when he's talking to a female client, I mean, I can guarantee he probably has the same conversation with a man. Yeah.
I do.
So please
Yeah.
don't take it as we're saying one gender. Just to be clear.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. That's very
Yeah.
politically correct of you.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the other question, so I hope that answers, is there any dating sightings? I would really just kind of anchor, just to take it in, just to take stock of your own values, the values that you're looking for, and to really set boundaries and step away from the people pleasing type of activities that could cause a
Mm-hmm.
lot of trauma
Mm-hmm.
in your life. The third question, and it'll be our final question for today.
Our final question of the day is,
I know, are there any Gen X men that can share feelings? Come on, Bobby. You're a Gen X man. Talk to me.
okay, I wasn't going to break down like this, all right? But, okay. I like the generality of there. Are there any Gen X men that can share their feelings? I could feel the frustration through that person
Exactly.
because it's a linear line of
too.
communication. So
Right.
I'm trying to say it in my head like they're saying it, and they're probably a little bit frustrated. I would say that generally we were on the end of be seen and not heard. You don't need to share. I think one of my dad's era's adages is, you don't have problems, you just drink them away.
Right.
And I think that the Gen X generation is like the tail end of that.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to find some Gen X men that are really stoic. I would look at not only how they grew up, but what kind of a job they're in, especially. Because that tends to foster that closed off emotional stance.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer the question, there are Gen X men that can share. And the funny tidbit that I like to give people about my sessions is that 70% of the people that are in my office over the time that I've been doing this have been female, because females generally seek out counseling more than men. Is Mac back? Is he back to sleep again?
Yeah.
Is he? Okay. I saw you turn. I'm like, Mac, okay, you can sleep there. Just
Good
stop
snore, baby.
snoring.
Good story.
But 70% of the people that I've seen over the times that I've been doing counseling have been female.
Right.
And the 30% that are male, I would say that the amount of tears that fall on a couch are evened out.
Right.
So let that sink in, because when women go to counseling, they actually start spinning up another cog. They're emotional, but they're also trying to be as forthcoming as they can with information. It spins up another cog. Whereas you spin that cog up in a man, and all of a sudden the water starts coming out because they don't spin it up. So yes, it is possible. It is. It's just more rare than like a millennial. Pardon me.
Well, I would say that intentionality is very key, because a lot of women, they like the bad boy.
Is that a
You
word?
know?
Intentionality. Is that a
Yeah.
Kinseyism? Because I gotta look that up.
The thing is like we verbally say we want a man that cares for us, supportive, and whatever. And that man comes along, and then we find fault with that man. They're too good, or they're too nice, or we put them in the friend zone because we have to have a little bit of that bad boy rub. Yeah.
Was just talking to somebody about this the other day, but yes, I get it.
So, I mean, you can be talking out of both sides of your mouth. And when you're doing that, it's very confusing to a man. It's very confusing on if you actually like them or not. Do you like them? When you anchor to that bad boy type of persona, that is not quite often the man that is going to stick with you. It's not. And you shut down a lot of men that, you put in the friend zone that would answer all of your things that you are praying for.
There are so many movies and television shows that have this just written all over
This is a very common trope in rom-coms. I mean, very much.
Yes.
Like the one that was always in front of my face.
Yep.
That I put in the friend zone because it's true.
Yep, it is.
So
it is.
I would really, really take stock of like what your intention is, what you are looking for. And you might be anchoring to your biases of what you're looking for.
Okay. We all have those. I can't deny that. I mean, I don't want to say bias. Okay, you could say biases. That's fine. I'm not taking that out of your mouth. I'm saying that we all have biases, but we all also have like qualities that we want. I wish I could think of anything in an English language right now. Even in Kinseyism, I would take something. We all have preconceived values that we want.
Right.
I'd like a woman that is about this tall. You know, I'd like a woman that's about this size, you know, whatever, just those preconceived things. It's like we have a picture in our head, but it doesn't mean that they have to fit every one of them.
Right.
You know, be open up to different ideas. So
A relationship is not a perfect person is not a to-do list or a check mark type of activity.
no, it's not. I just wanted to see why you were on your microphone.
Because I really want to prove the fact that
Let's prove this fact.
take stock of yourself. And
Yes.
because that once you know who you are and what your values are, what standards you have, then you can call in the same values. Because if you don't have those same values, you're not going to hold, you don't have the capacity to hold that relationship, or it's not going to be on even ground. Does that make sense?
True.
So that doesn't mean you have to be an identical match. Please don't think that I'm saying that.
No, that would be silly because you can't. I get it.
So at the end of the day, everybody just wants to find peace. They want to find tranquility. They want somebody to nurture them. They want somebody to value them. They want somebody to love and appreciate them. So sometimes we get to the point where we get in the to-do list of a relationship instead of how does this person make us feel? Do they hold the qualities and the values that is going to serve my future self, not you today? Because what serves you today usually is sex.
Did you say sex?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought you said.
I'm being a little cheeky.
Yes, but no, it does. What does usually serve you today is sex, and you know you have the honeymoon phase and all that stuff. But it always boils down to the same thing. I make my money off of communication issues, and the inability to express feelings and the anxiety that creates,
and boundaries.
And sometimes and some people in relationships unintentionally self-sabotage because they just don't know what to do.
Or
I have heard. Well, I think that they self-sabotage because of insecurities.
Yeah, that's it.
And when I say self-sabotage, they're not getting up in the morning like Pinky in the brain, like I know what I'm going to do today. You know, they just do this unintentionally. It's like a passive thing that they go through, and they don't know how to really be with somebody that good or that wonderful. They're like, I don't know what to do. I mean, my ex-wife told me that.
Yeah, I mean, people get in a pattern, and when you ask for something different, right? And then somebody has a car alarm going off. This is
I actually can't hear that. I can hear the dog snoring from 15 feet away, but I can't hear the car alarm.
This is the way this week has gone, I swear. This is the way this week. But I totally got lost track. I'm still anesthesia brain from my procedure yesterday, so we're gonna let that go. But I hope that these answers help you in your journey. And if you have further questions, please ask, and we'll expand upon that, because this is not a monologue. This is a dialogue, and we do this from our hearts to yours, because we believe that perspective matters. We believe that words matter. So that is why we do this. We want to give back, because
we do.
We were very much in a dark place in our past with our journey. And now we're in the season of seeing the light of possibilities. And now we want to shine that light for others, because there is purpose, passion, and possibilities in each and every one of you. So please subscribe, share, do all that fun jazz. And like always, we will see you next week. And answer more questions, talk about more topics. If you want us to talk about a topic, please share that.
Yes, please do.
We love and appreciate you guys. And you guys Shine your light. Be blessed.
Yep. And just know that we wrapped up in 30 minutes.
Woo-hoo!
Oh my God, the first time ever.
I know it. That's right, baby. That's right. All right, you guys. We will see you next week.
Yep.
Thank you so much for the questions. We appreciate you. Light, love.
See you next
love.
week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.